Yeah, messieurs! Welcome back to the Spearfishing channel. In this week's video, me and Jamile did a couple dives by my home, and as you can see, we were already off to a great start. We hadn't even made it past the beach yet, and I had already shot this beautiful 3-pound mutton snapper.
Jamile! Oi! Jamile!
You almost never see these fish this docile, so I just had a feeling that this day was going to be crazy. Once we made it past the beach, we swam around our normal spots, but other than that one snapper, we didn't really see anything else. However, while we were swimming between spots, I saw some really nice squids hanging near the bottom. These Caribbean reef squids are really good for calamari, but I normally just keep them for bait since snappers go crazy for them. Now, I don't remember much from that day, but I do know we had to head back early for some reason, and we just planned to try again the next morning. Just like the previous day, as soon as I hopped in the water, I saw another mutton snapper. Normally, I would not recommend chasing fish like I just did, but I saw it was running away before I made my dive, and I knew that was my only chance. Luckily, I was able to land this solid 5-pounder with a spine shot, and I quickly dispatched the fish to preserve the eating qualities. Also, mutton snappers are never this easy to shoot, and with it being the second one I got like that in 2 days, I had a good feeling I would see some more. As we continued diving, we ended up in some deeper water, and I made this drop in about 70 feet. On these deeper dives, it takes a really long time to reach the bottom, so I have a lot less time to lie down and hunt. Because of that, I don't get to be as picky as usual, and I just take the first fish that swims in front of me. This fish here is a blue runner, which is a small member of the jack family, and it's a fish that I haven't gotten to show on my channel before. In the States, these fish are commonly regarded as bait fish or trash fish, but I still find that they are quite good eating. After taking that jack, me and Jamile moved more into the shallows, and on this next dive, I saw something monstrous. It's really hard to see on the video, but as I was making my drop, I saw a giant mutton snapper. As soon as I spotted it, I took my eyes off the fish to prevent it from spooking, and I went straight to the bottom. Also, because it swam in the opposite direction, I used these corals as cover and started grunting to try and make it come back. At this point, I was starting to think I wouldn't see that fish again, but then I saw it swimming towards me. With the weight just stopped, I was sure I hit a stone shot, but then something insane happened. Unfortunately, since I was diving in shallower water, I had removed one of my buns from my gun so I could shoot into rocks. That meant that I didn't have enough power for the spare to pass all the way through a fish of that size, and the flopper wasn't able to open.
I got 20-pound mutton! I hit a stone shot on it, but my spare slipped out and it just went. Like it started spinning and it ran. Quick, come, just help me, come.
In that moment, I was sure this was the biggest mutton snapper I had ever seen in my life, and I could not believe that I just lost it. However, with the shot that I put in and with the way it was moving afterwards, I had a feeling it would be close by, so me and Jamile swam around looking for it. Now, of course, we were still looking for other fish, and I was not going to pass up the opportunity at this smaller mutton. This one was only a 3-pounder, but it was still a really good eating size, and I was hoping that it was a sign that the big one was close by. However, after about an hour of searching, we gave up, but while we were swimming back to shore, I found this small wreck. There was so much life around it with small grunts everywhere, and it just looked like a spot to hold something monstrous. My first instinct was to check under it to hopefully see something big, so I went directly to the side closest to me. Since I didn't see much, I went to go check the other side, but right before I could look underneath, a nice mutton snapper ran out from underneath it. I just waited for it to turn the corner, but then I caught a glimpse of it running in the opposite direction. I put a really bad shot in its tail and it ran directly for the structure, but somehow I was able to keep it out and my shot still managed to hold. This was another nice mutton coming in at 3.5 pounds, and I just had a good feeling that there would be more fish around. Because of that, while I was dealing with the fish, I sent Jamile to look under the side I didn't get to check, but he said that he didn't see anything. However, I still wanted to check it out myself, and when I looked under the wreck, I could not believe what I saw. That same giant mutton snapper from earlier was sitting in the hole, and I put a shot into it before I could turn my camera on. This time, however, I knew my shot was really good and the fish wasn't going anywhere, so the only thing I had left to worry about was the extraction.
They're going nowhere. It's the one up sticking a rock. So as long as the floppers stay open, that fish can't go nowhere. Huh? If you can, so you'll see the spare, I'll pull it through, just make sure, when you unstick it, just make sure the floppers stay open.
For any of y'all who didn't fully catch that, the plan was for both of us to go down from opposite sides so we could get that fish out of the wreck. My job was to keep tension on the line so the fish couldn't get more tangled, and Jamile just had to free the spare and get it to my side without the flopper opening. Since we had planned it before going down, we were easily able to get it free, and once that fish came out of the structure, I saw how fat this monster was. From the shape alone, I was sure this was my new personal best, and I still couldn't believe I got my second chance at it. I didn't waste any time, and right away I started braining and bleeding the fish to be as humane as possible and to preserve the eating qualities. The whole time I had that fish in my hands, I just couldn't believe how big this thing was, and I could not wait to get to shore and weigh it.
Boy, I don't know what happened to that sea today, but the was outside, eh? The muttons was outside. I don't weigh them yet, but that one look like it have to be my PB, cause what the why it's so fat. Check muttons, lionfish, cow, protege, everything.
Somehow the big one only weighed in at 13.5 pounds, so it wasn't the monster I needed to pass my personal best. However, it wasn't a disappointment at all because it was still a solid mutton snapper, and it's definitely the hardest I've ever had to work to land a fish. Also, mutton snappers are some of my favorite fish to hunt and eat, making this one of my most memorable catches ever.